Good afternoon.
Yeah, Lorenzo.
Can you, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Lorenzo, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed alumni. Um, it's my honor to welcome you to the University of Nigeria Secondary School Alumni Association Leadership Series for the first half of 2026. We are, of course, truly delighted to have you join us virtually from different parts of the world. Kindly ensure, please, you remain connected and engaged as we go through what promises to be a very insightful and impactful session. Today's session is themed Building a Business That Endures, Succeeding Across Generations. My name is Lorenzo Menakaya, and I'll be your compare for this program. To set the tone, we're going to welcome our the president of the Association of the University of Nigeria Secondary School Alumni Association, and also the convener for the Unnssaa Leadership Series. Let's welcome Mrs. Choma Ndubisi Etuk for the welcome address.
Thank you very much, Lorenzo. Distinguished alumni, honored guests, and our great friends of Unity, good afternoon. And a very warm welcome to this edition of the University of Nigeria Secondary School Unnssaa Alumni Association Leadership Series. In our midst today, we have Professor Kamoru Olaiwola Usman. He's the DVC Academics, University of Nigeria, Unnssaa. We also have in our midst Mr. Uche Adama. Mr. Uche Adama is the current principal of University of Nigeria Secondary School. And we have our teachers, current teachers, and parents of students in the University of Nigeria Secondary School, Unnssaa, joining us as well. We gather today as people bound by a shared beginning, the corridors, the classrooms, and friendships, and the values of the University of Nigeria Secondary School. That school gave many of us more than an education. It gave us a standard. And one of the enduring purposes of this association is to ensure that that standard continues to shape not just who we were, but who we are still becoming. It is in that spirit that we established this leadership series as a space where our community comes together, not merely to celebrate what alumni have achieved, but to learn from the journeys behind those achievements, the details, the disciplines, and the defining choices men have made. Today, we're genuinely honored to welcome a man whose journey stands as one of the most extraordinary in Nigeria business history. Dr. Cosmas Maduka, CON, founder, president, and CEO of the Coscharis Group. Dr. Maduka built without shortcuts, led with faith and integrity, and has invested consistently in the next generation of Nigerian leaders. That is precisely the conversation we want to have in this room. Let me also inform us that, Dr. Maduka is about 9-10 hours away from us. And the truth is, it's almost midnight where he is, and yet he agreed to be our guest today. That speaks a lot about Dr. Cosmas Maduka. Dr. Maduka, thank you. On behalf of every alumnus of the University of Nigeria Secondary School, we say thank you. Thank you for your time and your willingness to pour into this community. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our distinguished guest, Dr. Cosmas Maduka. Tobinna.
Thank you very much, Choma. I think the word that you've used is extraordinary, and I align myself completely with that word. Very remarkable journey, phenomenal, if you ask me. It is my name is Tobenna Erojikwe, and it is my pleasure this afternoon to introduce and indeed read the profile of Dr. Cosmas Maduka, CON. Dr. Cosmas Maduka, CON, is a distinguished Nigerian entrepreneur, philanthropist, and ordained minister whose life is a compelling testimony of God's grace, faith, and purpose. Born on December 24th, 1958 in Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria, Dr. Maduka faced profound challenges early in life. Following the death of his father at the age of 4, he was thrust into hardship and denied access to formal education. Yet, through divine providence, unwavering faith, and steadfast work ethic, he rose from these humble beginnings to become one of Africa's most respected business leaders. Dr. Maduka is the founder, president, and chief executive officer of Coscharis Group, a company he began as a small trading outfit, which has, by the grace of God, grown into a major conglomerate with interests across diverse sectors of the Nigerian economy. Most notably, Coscharis Motors is a leading player in the automotive industry and holds exclusive dealership rights for globally renowned brands such as Rolls-Royce, BMW, Mini, Jaguar Land Rover, Renault, and Ford. His success in business is matched by his commitment to using his platform as witness for Christ in the marketplace. A man passionate about empowering others, Dr. Maduka is a frequent speaker at youth conferences, Christian gatherings, and entrepreneurship forums. He openly shares his personal testimony, emphasizing that one's background does not define one's destiny. Rather, it is faith in God, discipline, and diligence that shape the future. His life message, consistently reinforced to his teachings, is that with God, all things are possible. Dr. Maduka's influence has extended beyond the business world into Christian ministry and philanthropy. He's an ordained minister in the local Christian Assembly Church, where he continues to serve faithfully. Known for boldly professing his faith, he integrates biblical principles into his leadership and decision-making. He has supported numerous faith-based initiatives and ministries, and his philanthropic work reflects his Christian values. Through the Coscharis Foundation, he has provided scholarships to countless underprivileged students and funded significant infrastructure in higher institutions, including a law lecture theater at the University of Nigeria Enugu campus and a 3-story residential facility at the College of Medicine, Nnamdi Azikiwe University. Dr. Maduka has received widespread recognition for his contributions to society. These include honorary degrees from the University of Nigeria, 2003, Afeba Balola University, 2006, and Michael Obara University of Agriculture, Umudike, 2021. In 2012, he was awarded the National Honor of Commander of the Order of the Niger by the President of Nigeria. International media has also highlighted his journey of faith and business success with features in Forbes magazine and on CNN Marketplace Africa. He has served on the boards of major institutions, including a 12-year tenure as director of Access Bank PLC and as president of the Nigerian Table Tennis Federation. He is also an alumnus of the Harvard Business School Executive Education Program and serves on advisory boards of leading Nigerian business schools. Above all, Dr. Cosmas Maduka is a devoted follower of Jesus Christ. His life exemplifies what it means to serve God in both the church and the marketplace. He was married to his beloved wife, the late Charity Maduka, and together they were blessed with 5 children. He continues to live a life of purpose, using his story to inspire, uplift, and advance the kingdom of God. Distinguished alumnus and alumni of the University of Nigeria, Unnssaa Secondary School, and our visitors, it is my privilege and honor to yield the floor now to Dr. Cosmas Maduka. Dr. Maduka, sir. So I think you're muted.
You're muted, sir.
Yes, I just noticed that.
Okay.
Okay, so let me start again. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's a great privilege and a real honor to be called to share my over 5 decades experience in business world. And I want to start with an apology for that long introduction profile. I'm sure those of you who have been to tertiary institution, you will understand that those of us who do not have the privilege you have, it takes almost 2 pages to write our qualification, try to pad it up. When you see people reading people credential for more than 2 minutes, you know this is just to make up that lack of opportunity. If I have been to Harvard, you would have just said BSc, Harvard, BSc, or MSc, Cambridge. So please accept our unreserved apology. But that's not the business of today. The business of today is to share my experience building business that enduring success across generation. You see, there is what we call in business an offer that you cannot refuse. When my very good friend, I call him my uncle, Okay Udenzwe, tried to reach me tirelessly, he couldn't get me. He had to press the right button and contacted our group managing director, Josiah Samuel. Incidentally, both of us were out of the country. I was in China somewhere and he was in another place and told me, okay, he's trying to reach me. But I think the credit has to go to the lady that just tried to introduce me before now, Shoma, for her doggedness and commitment to make this happen. Frankly speaking, what you are going to hear today is not going to be anything different by what that determination simplify. Successful people does not take anything do not take no for an answer. And Shoma did not want to take no for an answer. And here am I today, all the way from Tokyo, Japan. Just like she said to you, it's about 16 minutes after 9 p.m. tonight. I have to speak in another church here tomorrow morning. So I'm juggling to do this, but I couldn't say no to my uncle, Oke Udeze, who really requested that I do this for him. For those of you who may not know, Oke played a very important role in what I'm doing here today. I remember the first ever speech I made. He was the person who wrote it for me, and I read it like I was a professor. But those are parts that I have built my own experience from what I have done. So let me welcome you to the University of Nigeria. University of let me welcome you to the University of Unnssaa, Nigeria Secondary School Alumni Association Leadership Series. The theme for this discussion today, building business that endure, succeeding across generation, is a subject that is very dear to my heart. So I will ask you to give me your undivided attention as we try to run through this. Life has always, life has always, life has a way of rewarding those who think boldly, desire good things. Why? Because there's always a turning point that shifts from survival entrepreneurship, what people like me consider as hustling. It's good to start with hustling, but it is wrong to hustle all your life, because hustling will put food on your table, but hustling can never make you successful. So the turning point should be the point of hustling for survival entrepreneurship to a vision-driven business. The goal is to create something that will stand the test of time. If everything you stood for come to an end when you are no more, is the first evidence that you have not led effectively. Something lasting, something that will become a strong and meaningful legacy. It is a great honor and a real privilege for me to be on this call with you today to speak on the topic building business that endure, succeeding across generation. I hope you have your pen and paper ready, and let's dive into the section of today. Let me have the next slide, please. Introduction. Every market has its own peculiarity, something that makes the business environment unique. It could be the regulatory landscape, the infrastructure, governance, the business culture. Well, this is well, this in this regard, Nigeria is no different. The Nigerian market has a unique Nigerianness about it. It is important to understand the business environment in Nigeria, understanding how similar it is or to the different part of the world or wherever you reside from other markets that you are familiar with. And this will help you to quickly ramp up your business if you're operating in Nigeria. Otherwise, you will run into some problem. Knowledge of the key features of operating environment can also help the business leaders to avoid pitfall that could easily lead to demise or otherwise successful business operations. Next slide, please. If you look at the man there, that's what it looks like doing business in Nigeria, but it's what is similar in Africa. Pulling a big rock upon the hill. Business in Africa can be very challenging, and business in Nigeria is particularly intimidating. Successful business builders have to learn how to navigate a hostile business environment to unlock business opportunities that are available in Nigeria. Next slide. Are you with me? Yeah. Let me quickly introduce myself. Who is Cosmas Maduka? A Christian, a business, a minister of the gospel, an entrepreneur, and a businessman, a legend with standard 3 English. That's why it's difficult for me even to read my writing. But we will get to find out who is educated man according to Henry Ford as we dive into this program. And that is a proof that an impact does not always come with perfect grammar. As I try to introduce myself to you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my fellow entrepreneurs, the topic I will be focusing today is building business that endure, succeeding across generation. If you are starting like my humble self, from glass to grace, one word that is common is hustling. But today, we are discussing how to move forward. Now, let me start by asking, how many of you here listening to me that have had an idea of what it takes to hustle? I am sure quite a number of you will be identified. Don't be shy. We have all hustled. Everywhere I go in Africa, around the world, but particularly in Africa, I hear one word echoing from the lips of young men and women: hustling. We hustle in the marketplace, we hustle to go to the market, and we see young men standing in the front of a shop calling customers without resting from morning till night. At 50 years, he suddenly collapsed and joined his ancestors, and the family will say they have killed him. But the truth is, hustling drain the life out of you. We hustle in the street every day. You step outside, you see young men and women chasing after bosses, running after customers, selling one thing or the other, or chasing one opportunity to another with energy and anger. Looking at them many times exhausted. We hustle even online. That is why, in the quest of generating uh, viewer, uh, in the case of in the hustling of generating viewers, even when there is an accident, nobody is trying to help people that are involved in the accident. What everybody is concerned is how he can quickly take a video to be able to post things online. This is the things we see every day. People hustle even in church. You go to church, you see people praying in desperation, some making a sound like an animal, just in a form of a prayer, just to make things happen. We see a young man on the streets, screaming, I saw two people, just on somewhere, tying some rope on a white something, hitting the drum of the brain. I want money, I want money. This is the things we see every day. While scrolling my Facebook, I saw young men and women by the riverbank carrying crying to a pot tied with a red cloth, shouting, I need money, give me money. They were wearing only pants. I asked myself, what is this? Then I realized it is still hustling. But what they refuse to understand is that what they are asking the spirit, what they are asking the spirit for is not spirit-made, but man-made. Prosperity, success, and excellence in life are not spirit-made. They are man-made. So when I say we hustle because we must survive, I mean this. For many young men in Nigeria and across Africa, hustling is not a choice, it is a necessity. Many of us hustle because we were born into it. We hustle because the system has failed us. We hustle because job don't exist. We hustle because life has not given us equal standing opportunity. So everything in life is about hustling. But let me tell you, it's good to start with hustling, but you should not look at hustle to be your end. There are quite a number, when we talk about building business that endure across generation, it's about founding father being intentionally to scale up, not to stop from where he started. Like I said in my opening statement, if everything you stood for come to an end when you are demised, you have not led effectively. Why is Global 500 company and many big 300 years organizations still asking what is the leadership of Jesus Christ, his servant leadership that endured his business? When he came here, he said, I must be about my father's business. In Luke chapter 2, I think 48 or 52. He started a company, left 2,000 years ago. His company is still growing, is getting clients. Many people are still subscribing to his business. I happen to be one of his clients. People are joining his company every day. What was this man's secret of leadership that make his business endure different generation and time? That is an example of leadership. He left a legacy. People are willing to even put their life into it. I'm in Japan now. To be very honest to you, I can't tell the story and success of my life without the Japanese. I am fortunate to meet them at very tender age of my life. I learned a whole lot from the Japanese outside of what they teach me from church. I find where commitment, where people get married to their organization. Before the fundamentalists start committing suicide, the Japanese have started killing themselves. If you know what happened in Harbor during the Second World War that the Americans could not understand, a man knew he was going to die. Somebody served him a sake. He took a bar and take a jet fighter that is loaded with bomb and go and crash it in America warship. The Americans thought that was a drone. There were no drones existing then, but Japanese acted like drones. That's the level of commitment they have. They get married to their organization. So I came here very early and understand what commitment is all about. That's why traveling is part of education. I may not have stayed in a four corner of a wall for too long in my life, but I have traveled. And traveling anywhere you have been in life actually is a school. Whether it's question of whether you are willing to learn or you are not willing to learn. If you are willing to learn, there are lessons, even as we are here on this platform now. It's a school. But how intentionally are you? So don't wait till you go to Cambridge or go to, Oxford or Harvard or IMT. These are great institutions, but you can learn from one another. You can learn from traveling. My question is, how many of us want to hustle forever? Let me share a story with you. The story of a young man named Cosmas Maduka. That is, let's look at the next slide. Um, there's a slide that is missing here. I would have loved to show you my slide at the age of 14 years. You needed to have seen me at 15 and at 17. At 15, I wrote my vision of where I want to be. I worked for my uncle for 5 years and 6 months with no salary. That is how to begin. Robert Kiyosaki, one of the bestsellers, said, "Don't work for money, work to learn." My uncle taught me every rudiment it required to run business. He didn't pay me salary, he clothed me and fed me. And in 1976, he counted 200 naira and gave me as my startup capital. I have a choice to um, to go and eat goat head that evening with 200 naira and blame everybody around me, including God, and ask him why did he take my father when I was 4 years. Life is not about what happened to you, it's about what happened in you. How do you think? What is your mental capacity? How do you process information? My senior brother went with me when my uncle is not extended family member. My uncle was my mother's junior brother. So actually my grandfather, he gave me 200 naira after working for him for close to 6 years. I looked at it, I said, "Uncle, why did you do this? Where do I go with this? I can buy a carton of plug and put it in my head and hug it like a bread. Usually, you should pay for a store, give me some goods, and support me with capital." Actually, my uncle punished me because I locked up his shop on Monday and went to Central Christian Fellowship and fast. And we were fasting. We were on the third day of the fasting. So he asked me, when did I become a religious fanatic? I told him I was doing everything that will support the business to grow. He said yes, he needed to give me that 200 naira so that my own business will grow. My senior brother said I should leave it and let us go. But I asked my senior brother, does he have anyone to give me? He says no. I said, so let me go with this. The point I'm trying to make is that do not neglect the beginning of any small thing. But before I left my uncle, I told him to make a note. He should watch and see who I've become 5 years from that day. And I told him that what he will see will amaze him. When I said that, my uncle turned around in his seat and said, well, one thing is sure is that I will succeed. I jumped up, I said, thank you very much, because I needed that blessing from him. The lesson I want those of you listening to me this evening to learn from this story is that adversity is nothing but a refining fire that burns out impurities in our life. Because Job said, when I am tried, I shall comfort like gold purified. You don't have control how people will treat you, how people will relate with you, but you have control how to respond to that situation. When you are challenged, it's either you throw your two hands up in the air and cry endlessly, or you accept the challenge and said, I am going to respond with increased service. So I told my uncle to watch me in the next 5 years. I went home and teamed up with my senior brother and we formed a company called Maduka Brothers. My senior brother and I started working together Because of the same mindset, after 5 months, I told my senior brother, let us incorporate our company. He told me, why are we incorporating the company? How much did we have? That people who share limited are people who have made so much money. Actually, we started differing in ideology and we parted way. He moved his own way and I moved my own way. I worked very hard. The first thing I did is that the whole thing my uncle taught me, I put into practice. Business, business run by system and processes. You cannot overcome them. But I don't want to run ahead of myself. The person you are looking at, the picture you are looking there is John Maxwell by the extreme left, depending on where you are looking for. I shared a platform with him in Liberty University at Richburg, Virginia, I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago. In the middle there is Aliko Dangote and P2B. That was at my second son's wedding. Aliko is my very good friend. These people, I relate with them, and I call them by phone and they return. And the excellent light is Ben Carson, the renowned neurosurgeon. I also met him at Liberty University. I went back to my office, to my home, and I wrote 5 things I want to accomplish before I turn 25. If you don't hear anything from me this evening, make a note that I said you can fall out of ladder by accident. You can fall off of tree by accident, but you can never climb it by accident. You need to be very intentional. Life reward people who are courageous and bold, who are willing to make difference and know where they are going. The picture you see when the first where I introduced myself was a cover page of Forbes, back page of November 2025. Yes, this is the picture. They cover me in 2015 as a man who turned $1 into $500 million United States dollar. That's how they assessed me. But actually, that was when we wanted to be $1 billion company. For those of you who are already in business, my colleagues and friends who have joined here, it doesn't happen by accident. We have to hire KPMG to come and help us restructure our organization because we wanted to, make a quantum loop and grow. But let me tell you the story from beginning so that you do not make a mistake. After my uncle settled me with 200 naira, I wrote 5 things I want to accomplish by 25. One is that I want to live in 3 bedrooms apartment of my own by the time I am 18 years. And by 20 years, I want to take a lady to altar. And 21 years, I want to have a male child, a boy. And by 23 years, I want to own my own car. And by 25 years, I want to be a US dollar millionaire. I didn't have it in my head. I wrote it down. And I placed it in the wall of my bed. That will be the last thing I will see before I sleep. When I get up in the morning after praying, I will go and look at it to remind myself who I am and where I'm going. If I meet you on the street and you are talking to me, perhaps you do not know the way my mind learns. I will take you, whatever discussion you are making, and put you on those 5 things. If you do not fall into any of them, I'll cut you off because I will consider you a distraction in my life. I was very intentional. People are waiting for accident to happen. Life is not just about accident. Let's move to the sixth slide. Why most business don't last. Before I tell you this story, let me go back to the story that I'm saying. So I started this business on my own. I was the managing and damaging director of the Coscharis group, the accountant general, the alpha and the omega, the ABC. If anybody know how to count money, we'll put him in a cage and call him a cashier. These are the kind of thing we did. But we cannot be the Coscharis of today with that kind of model and system. We cannot be able to compete in a structured manner, in a constructive manner. So these people that joined me worked very hard. We made money. But I know that if I want to remain like that, I'll be able to buy a BMW, I'll be able to buy a Mercedes, I will build some houses in the village, but I will never have a structured organization. So I did the first restructuring more than over 40 years ago. I've been in business actually for over 50 years, yes, because I started in 1976, and this is 80, this is 2006, yes. So over 55 decades. So the last 30, over 25, we did the second instruction in 2015. But before then, we've done the first one. People who join me, who hold on my coat, whatever I do, they promote it. I was the A to Z of the organization, almost killing myself for the success that I have made. That was when I did the first restructuring, and I got consultant to look at the things we are doing and tell us that we needed make some move and make some changes. And it occurred that we need to downsize some people. These are the most difficult challenge for self-made people to do in organization, because sometimes our emotion drive us beyond normal. This person has been with me. What happened if he go? It was very difficult and expensive. But I called our staff then. I said, look, where some of them believe actually that something is wrong with me, and absolutely something is wrong with me. Because for them, we have made money, we build houses in Ajegule, we build houses in the village. What am I doing? What more am I looking? Including my late wife at the time told me, will I go to heaven with this money? I told her, I never knew that people go to heaven with money. But if people don't go to heaven with money, the money will not stop me from going to heaven. And I worked hard regardless. So they didn't understand what is driving me, because nothing happened unless the founder himself agree to transmit the fire burning inside of him to some other person that will carry the baton to run. So after I got information from the consultant, I called my full team, people that joined me, that brought Coscharis to where it is, that work as a staff, and told them that if any of them is willing to go, because we are trying to bring consultant into the company, that we will pay him lump sum salary, two years salary at a time with his retirement package. But if nobody volunteered to go and we bring consultant and the consultant insists that they are going to, some people need to leave, that we will only pay you what we are obligated, that are written as our contractual agreement with you. And I took quite a number of them. I said, you start business with this capital and you become our customer, we will make you a dealer, consign product to you. So it was us, it did two things, because quite a number threw in towel, and it cost me so much money. This was about over 30, 40 years ago. I spent over 200 million naira for compensation. It wasn't a small money for me then. It's like 20 billion naira for me today, for the value of money that time. But I paid them, and many of them started in becoming our dealer, become our advocate into the market, because we are bringing people that have gone to school, learn how to run business, to help us structure. There are some people who also put in reservation, say, no, no, people like you are not the people we are talking about. Because it's a way to really get some of the dead wood out of your organization. And then you know people that you believe have potential to support the new vision. Otherwise, you are going to create a bunch of confusion with the new people coming in and with those old people. They keep on challenging, how's that divide against each other cannot move or make progress. And quite a number of them left at that time. And then that was our first phase. That was when we were able to get people like Josiah Samuel to leave Broadbank to join us. We started hiring people from oil company to come and join us. Josiah joined us as assistant general manager, even though, from the bank, and grow today to become the group managing director, and different people like that. We started structuring the company, how to be able to be looked at by the bankers as an organization. There's no way, no matter how truthful I am, if I follow the system that brought me up. That's the essence of innovation. Innovation is not invention. It's to look at things that have been done before and find how to fine-tune it and make it better. I'm sure some of you listening to me will be surprised to hear that organizations like us borrow money in Nigerian bank on a negative pledge. Central Bank knew we borrow on a negative pledge. And the bank you will never believe that will lend people money without collateral lend us money. The first bank that started lending me money without collateral was Guaranteed Trust. Because collateral is the last thing the bank consider. There are many other things that is a factor to your business. One of them is that if you demise, will the business run? Who are they going to talk to if you are not there? Some of you listening to me will not believe that this is real. In the last 30 years of my organization, I've never signed check in Coscharis, and we have about 10 signatories to our account. 2 people must sign. That's the institution we built, and we become multinational. I'm speaking to you now in Japan. We acquired a company here in Japan in 2021. That's my group managing director, my managing director here, has a challenge, is going through cancer situation. I needed to be here to structure things, even though I'm also here to wrap up with my Japanese residency and all the other things. So, and we've been able to advance our business because we have to do things that require. Now, statistics have shown why most business don't last. 70% of family business fell by the second generation. 90% of startups fell within its first year. Like in a country of United States of America, if you start a company and 5 years you don't close, you will get congratulations. 90% of new businesses fell within the first 10 years of it. Only 3% of business survive to the third generation. Some reason why business fell: leadership built around a single personality rather than a larger vision, culture and legacy of the organization. It's part of the whole thing. I had plans for myself. God helped me. By 18 years, indeed, I was living in 3 bedrooms apartment of my own. I married Charity when I was 19 years plus. I took her to altar on September 23rd, 1978, and I was to turn 20 on December that year. I beat it by 3 months. So some of you listening to me could pass as my child. I've been married for 48 years. She went to be with the Lord in 2021. So I've been a widower in the last 5 years. That's not the point of today. The point I'm trying to make is that all your plans may not work exactly the way you plan, because I wanted a son at 21 and I made love to my wife, but God knew that those two babies cannot be making baby. My first son came at the age of 26, but I pursue my other vision. As we move through these slides are progressing, I will show you myself at 21, 22. I bought my first Passat car at 22. I passed odor car load by Mandelas, a Volkswagen wagon, blue color, with 3,000 kilometers. I closed it. My third vision came to pass. My mother was in that car, and we were traveling with my wife. I tell young people, never for the fear of controversy, deny your experience. When God speaks to you and you are convinced, stand by it, regardless. We were in the car and I said, time is running out on me. My mother said, what is the problem? I said, it remained 2 years for me to be a millionaire. My mother said, can we make the journey in peace? I told her, what's the problem? She said she doesn't like that my boasting make her go to toilet, that I should stop talking like that. So I told my mother, I've just told her exactly what I want to do. Very strong woman. She told me that if I say that again, she get out of the car. I didn't wait for her to say, I stopped the car, get close to her ear. I said, Mom, 2 more years, you can make a note. 2 more years, I'll be a millionaire. You want to get that? Once I open the car, my wife asked me if I'm out of my mind. I banged the car, start the car. She said, that's your mother. I said, if you like, I can also drop you. I left my mother on the road and I drove away. When you have a vision, you guide it like a woman that is pregnant. You don't take no for an answer. People like me, when you tell me it cannot be done, that is when you fire me up. You bring something to the fire that is in my bone. True to the fact, I stopped on third grade education. I didn't go beyond a four-corner wall called school, beyond elementary three. But with my elementary three degree, I've served in two public quoted banks in Nigeria. The last one was Access Bank, where I was the chairman of credit committee for 12 years. And with my elementary three degree, I've been to Harvard Business School. Yes, indeed, executive program. With my elementary three degree, I met Leo Stan Eke in Harvard. I met Erufai, Pato Tommy. I was in the same class with Professor Pato Tommy. You know, what are they studying? Case studies of business that fail. We took a case study of how Compaq took over, how HP took over Compaq and how Compaq fell. Things we are doing every day in my business life was what they are teaching us in Harvard. And I contributed my quota. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that, true to the fact, I made my first 2 million United States dollar at the age of 25. 24. I beat it by 1 year. The rest is history. When you are intentional on what you want to do. But it's not just enough that you handle cash. What is important is what do you do with it? Where are you going? You just want to be a money bag. Next slide, please. Number 7. Challenges. How can leaders build generational impact, not just for today, but for the future? That's exactly what I have been telling to you. Look at the next slide. Let me show you the foundation. The next slide. This is the foundation. The first thing you do in building is the foundation. People never see it, but it determines whether the building will last. Many times you spend 4 months, 5 months, sometimes 2 years, depending on how high you are going in building a foundation, forming the structures on which the buildings will stand. Without a solid foundation, you cannot build an organization. So a start, how far you are going to go will depend on your willingness as a founder to build systems and processes that will carry the organization. Many leaders, many businessmen, especially people from the eastern part of Nigeria, depend on what is in their pocket. What people have in their head is greater than anything that is in your pocket. When God said, I will give you wealth, it means I will give you idea. You will see where other people are looking. So a foundation is fundamental. It needs to be solid. Next slide after foundation, you see it is structure. Now, the next thing is the structure on which your business will stand upon. It has to come upon a solid foundation that have been built and it will look like what you are just seeing there. Skeleton. You don't understand it. It looks scattered. No structure. There's no room. But this structure are the things that will carry the business. But this structure came on the foundation. So if you are not willing to drive yourself to build systems and processes, you will make money. You will build house in Ajegule. You will build house in Kaduna. You build house in Abuja. But when we don't see you, all your children will start struggling is how to sell your property. A credit whose property is being sold. Since your own property has been sold, quite a number of big people who started business in the eastern part of Nigeria because there's no plan for generational turnover. Once the person is no more there, the children will start struggling, egolent. Just something Nigeria people are having. Instead of getting good brains who the system will carry. Next slide. The third phase of every business that endure, this is what it looks like. You leave hustling, which is the survival means, that is the base down there. You move into the next stage, which is success. This is where many Igbo people stop. But they never move into the third phase, which is leaving a legacy, which is the pyramid, the cap, that when you are no more there, the business will run by itself in autopilot. We see businesses that are running for 200 years, for 300 years. Lucky fellas are no more here. Ford, Henry Ford is no more there. All of these are all family business. I mean, Japan, Honda is a one-man business. A guy who started, picking something after the Second World War. We've seen all of this company built as one. BMW is a family business. So all of this organization built, but they have past generation. But we want to be the A to Z. What is wrong with us in Africa that we can't create an institution? We have seen people from our town did it, but when they are no more there, that business never outlasts them. And that has to change. That is the only way we can say we make our impact and put something in our own generation. Next slide. I have to run now because of time. Phase one, survival, which is what I call the hustle mode. You start off hustling every day is about it. Staying alive in business. But survival is not the destination. It is the starting point. But many people start with it and stay there. The owner of the business still have to go and negotiate with the custom, still need to go and clear goods from the port, still need to go to warehouse and know what is happening, still need to go to bank. I don't know who is the managing director of Zenith Bank today, and they lend me money on a negative pledge. I don't know the name of the managing director of most of the institution in Nigeria. It's not about me. I don't know the president of Ghana. I've been in Ghana doing business for the last 30 years, in Sierra Leone, in different parts of Africa. As a matter of fact, we currently operate in 5 continents. Next slide. Success pivot phase 2 is what we have shared with you. That's where you make success, but that is not the end. That is where you need it. If you build the right foundation, this is where you begin to make yourself intentionally unnecessary. Not people forcing you out. You intentionally unnecessary, like you are not existing anymore, so that you can be alive and see how the people take the legacy you build. So you have an idea what is happening. Some people tell me they don't care. They should manage it until they are not there. Whatever happened, why do they care? Well, we all share different philosophy. My philosophy is that whether I am there or I am not there. Of course, for those of you who may not know, the name Coscharis is Cosmas and Charities. That's how we call Coscharis. It's my wife's name that I joined with my own to Cos. Instead of calling it Coscharity, it become local something. It sounds Coscharis, so it sounds like Greek. So many people thought it was a foreign company. My wife is no more there, but the company is running. One day you look for me, you will not see me. Coscharis will go on. That's where what we're talking about, enduring business that survive time, legacy. Next slide. Second phase, success, pivot. Pivot from entrepreneurship to institution. Hire people smarter than you in their area. Introduce governance, structure, and long-term strategy. These are important. What I brought to table was my dogged determination of my core knowledge in automotive component at this second level. Of course, at the beginning, you don't need to do this if you are starting up because you don't have the money to pay professionals. Part of the problem again, founders have is that they are willing to bring 300 million naira or half a billion to go and give somebody as a bribe or as a tip or as a gift, but they are not willing to pay salary. They are not willing to hire professionals. They think they are doing them a favor by hiring them. You are not willing to pay good people who will bring ideas that will take your company to where you want it to be. This is wrong. That's mentality, I mean, village mentality that can never take a company somewhere. So if you really want to start a company, where do you start? The first thing is vision. Where do you want to see? A journey of a voyage. You see, you paint a beautiful picture. Let me be very honest to you. Wherever I am today in my life, it's not an accident. Whether banking bank funding me on a negative pledge. It didn't happen by accident. It was an intentional plan that I will get to where bank will not take collateral to lend me money. I achieved it in 1998. From 1998, all my properties are with me. None of my properties in the bank, including First Bank, lend me money on a negative pledge. Zenith, Guarantee Trust, IBTC, Fidelity. Central Bank knew we borrow on a negative pledge. That's multinational terms. I don't know how many other Nigeria that borrow on a negative pledge. but don't say it is impossible. It is possible. Where money will be available at your resources to develop and grow your business to any level you want to grow it. But you need to plan for it. You need to structure for it. That is part of the vision I have. So, what is the vision of Coscharis? In a very concise way, to build an institution that will be timeless in its relevancy and value. Therefore, it's not about Cosmas Maduka. It's not about Charity Maduka. I project my staff, my organization, and myself. Today, I am no more the dealer principal. My second son, Jonathan, is the dealer principal. Is the person BMW, Rolls Royce, Jaguar Land Rover deal with. I don't attend any of their meeting. My first son, Cosmas Jr., is in charge of our after-sales business. My daughter is a medical doctor. She works for me now as my executive assistant. She just left Japan 2 weeks ago. Okay? So she's involved in every meeting that I attend. And they get to know, because I am already handing over to them. By December 24, I will be 68. 12 more years, I'm 80 years. So am I going to go to office with walking sick? Or is that time I'm going to be handing over to them? So it's about vision. Where do you want to go? Where are you going? You see the end before you start the journey. That's why many people will not understand you, but you don't care who understand you and who did not understand you. You could see those 5 things I wrote down. You could see those 5 things I wrote down that I wanted to accomplish by the time I am 25. They are there. Those are the things. And by the grace of God, only one of them did not happen. And I did my own part. I can't give child come from God. But my job as a husband, I did. Next vision. Next slide. That's me there in 1978, September 23rd. I wedded Charity. That's me there. I am yet to turn 20. I turned 20 in December that year. And the one in the middle is me there, my Volkswagen Passat. That's me at the age of 23. That is my house. This is still where I live. People say I should build a new house. But I built this house before I turned 25. I finished this house before my first son was born. I still live in that house. In this house, it has 6 feet cantilever by the left. And then the second floor of that house, there's a swimming pool. I've thought about that at the age of 25. That's where I live, 7 rooms apartment, self-contained. I still keep my entire family there. I could have built other house, but I want to leave it as a legacy, and I enjoy living there. That's not issue. Next slide. Yeah, this is AG Leventis building by the left from facing this way I'm at. At the age of 14, I passed this AG Leventis. I pointed at this building by the left. I said, one day I'm going to make a building like this. The man by me cocked my head because he could not understand me going to enter Awala Awala. I'm pointing at this building. But if you want to know, the first ever house I made in Lagos is the one by the right side. When I made this building, I was not borrowing money from bank. No bank loaned me money. I finished making this building before I start borrowing money from bank. It was built by internal generated revenue within our organization. So we have built this building before 1978 because we started BMW in 1978. So 25 years ago, it was the best building in Adiola Odeku and Akeadenchola. This is the power of vision. It may tarry, but it must surely come to pass. If your vision is true and you keep faith with it, it has to go through challenges. At first, it is like a castle in the sky, untenable. But experience has shown that with dogged determination, unwavering commitment, there is no goal any man or woman set for himself that cannot be achieved. Before God and man, I didn't own a company in Japan by accident. This is a plan I had over 40 years ago. You don't just, things don't happen by accident. You need to tell yourself how you want to differentiate yourself and keep focused on it and work on it in a consistent level. Many times, people don't understand the power of consistency. Stone are not broken by the power of one hammer you made on it. But if you keep on putting pressure on the stone, knocking at it at a particular time, it could take 2 years, but one day it's going to cave in. You think it is that last hammer you did. That's why experience showed that a drop of water for over 200 years or 300 years can create a hole on a rock. A drop of water. Get a very cracked stone that is, put it in the center of where there is current on a water. Come and check it after 20 or 30 years. That stone will be shaping up the pressure of water. Just ordinary water will shape a stone. It's about consistency. You need to put your mind in what you want to do. You don't accept no for answer. You keep on coming back on it on a consistent level. You need a focus of an intention of a lesser being. You avoid every distraction. People wonder whether I am normal. At the age of 21, I asked Charity if she will accept that I don't want us to watch television in our house. My wife asked me, what should we watch if we don't watch television? I asked her which television is more beautiful than her, that I will be watching her and she will be watching me. Because I go to office and I come back late in the night. I don't want anybody to be interjecting in my discussion with her. A woman number one need is not sex. A woman number one need is affection, attention. A male number one need is sex. It's a functional tool, but it's not the same for a woman. A woman needs attention. When she's talking to you, you are looking at her in her eyes. She's sure it's not the time you are placing your phone and they saying go low. So I told my wife we don't need television. And I raised 5 children without television. My children used to tell me that my house is the most useless house. I told them not to profile me, that God didn't give his children everything in the Garden of Eden. You must be intentional what you want to do and how you want to live your life. I've been in Japan now. Nobody's here with me. I live in a home. I've been in hotel for months. I don't know where the TV the button of the screen of TV is. If you train your body, it will accept any training you give it to it, and they will adapt to it. And still, if there is any news that is important, I will get it. But I don't divide my attention because I need time to think as if for somebody going somewhere. Next slide. Next slide, yes. With God, nothing will be impossible. Faith, you require 3 things to succeed, and I'm going to quickly go through them. Number one is faith. Number one is vision. Number two is faith in your vision, because you are the first believer of your vision. Nobody will believe you unless you believe yourself. And your belief about yourself has to be infectional. Anybody that comes around you, the disease will catch him. But if you doubt yourself, nobody will believe you. You are the first believer of yourself. You are not even waiting for your wife to believe in you or your husband before you believe in yourself. So this must be well taught. The third thing is that you require wisdom. What do I call wisdom? Wisdom is application of knowledge, and that means action. You can't just say, I believe something. I don't even know what you believe until I see what you do. So you require courage to take action. And courage is not an absence of fear, but ability to act in the face of danger. If I perish, I perish. But you are very intentional that you are going somewhere, even when nobody sees with you. Next slide, because there's no more much time. Plan. Plan. You will not believe, even at 68 years, I have 20 years plan on a paper now. I'm just waiting for money to execute things I put in paper that I need to do. Many people say, I hope. Hope is not a strategy. Hope is number one enemy of faith. Faith is now. Don't, it's only when you have made plan, then you have hope on top of the plan. But don't just say you have hope, that there's no plan. The 42nd Secretary of State of United States of America, Colin Powell, said, a dream without a vision, a dream without a dream without plan is a wish. It's a wishful thinking. And it doesn't happen like that because you each day you hope it to happen. Next slide. Focus is a prerequisite. Stop your distractions and feed your focus. I've just shared it with you. Look at how crystal that mountain is with that focus. And look at how broad it is without it. That's the power of focus. With intention of a laser beam, you can break a bottle. That's the thing that makes things happen. That you avoid distraction. You may not be liked by everybody, but nobody, no one person have it all. Some people will like you, some people will not like you. But if people don't like you, they will not quarrel with your result, subject to how intentional you have been. Next slide. This must be the one of the most important aspect of this slide. Values and integrity. What is your value? Integrity is not what you do when everybody is watching you. It is what you do when you are sure that it can never be discovered, but you allow your principles, your beliefs to guide you in the things you do. The man I met, one of my supplier in Japan, his name is Mr. Machichita. He doesn't go to church, he doesn't read Bible, neither does he read Quran. But he took his own life. He committed what they call harakachi, Japanese does did, because he could not honor his obligation. And he wrote a letter and apologized to his creditors and tell them that he's very sorry. These are the reason people like me will take liability of $200-300 million for a kid brother that did not honor it. It doesn't come easy, but that's what puts you to where nobody will stop you, because people know you understand the word integrity. It's not words, it's action. Don't take a risk you cannot discount. Leverage in bank borrowing, but don't make it the main thing of your business. There are people who really become a liability to banks, but people like me cannot work like that. Our value system are completely different. The first time Jim Ovia came to my office while he was working in Zenith was, he said something I didn't like. I paid to the last cover. I wrote him one check and took all my obligation out. He told me Nigerians don't behave like that. I told him the Japanese trained me. We don't down tools in Japan. How we protest is that we over deliver. When we are angry, if you ask us to produce 10, we produce 20 to let you know we are not happy. That's why there's no strike in the country where I live now. So you need to understand that it depends on the values you share and you cherish. And this is one of the things that set our company apart. Today, BMW consign maker with 180 days payment, 200 years old company, Ford Motor Company. All my principles. People tell me Chinese don't give people credit. They don't just give me credit, but the minimum credit I get is 120 days from the date of bill of lading. Because I'll ask you to take reference from BMW. I'll give you people you take reference from. And that's why many people think I'm wealthy. I'm not wealthy. The truth is that people trust me with their money and I'm managing people's money. And that's why also I cannot be reckless because I am not, it's the people's money that they trusted in me that I'm holding on trust for them. All my suppliers, the best credit you will get is suppliers credit, not bank loan that carry interest Saturday, Sunday, and public holiday. You need to grow business to where people can entrust things to you. That thing they give you is money. You say you give me goods. No, that goods is money. It's an exchange. When you exchange it, it's money. So it's money they gave you, but it doesn't carry interest. So work on supplier credit and develop it is the best credit you will get. Bank will start giving you money when they see a lot of supplier credit from you. They thought all of those money are yours. Next slide. Today, we represent about 8 car brands in Nigeria. We started with BMW. We did it well. Land Rover signed us on, Jaguar signed us on, Rolls-Royce signed us on, Renault signed us on, Ford signed us on, Geely and Mini. And today we assemble 3 brands in Nigeria. Next slide. That is certificate. If you look at it, that is the first one was the certificate from uh, BMW. After 5 years of business with them, they said 5 years of value leadership. The other one is first segment in premium brand. We overtook Mercedes in Nigeria within 5 years. We did business, and they sent this one 25 years business partnership, excellent partnership award. We've been with them now for over 28 years. Next slide. That's also similar thing from Ford. We've been with Ford for over 25 years. If you see there, Coscharis, 25 years anniversary 2021. So we have worked with Ford for over 20. That's the records we kept. That longevity and consistency means something. And the shovel they gave us when we were building. Next slide. These are certificates of excellence from different organizations. If you ever have time to be in my office, you will be stunned by quite a number of them. Next slide. Now, a lot of people thought our core business is selling car. On my honor, if you give me opportunity to choose between those brands of vehicle and behind this component that I showed you, I will choose this component. Many people do not know that we are pharmaceutical of automobile. If you are driving a car in Nigeria, you are my customer. It doesn't matter which brand you drive. You can't drive your car 1 year without Coscharis shopping your money. So we keep cars on the road. People sell cars, but we keep the cars on the road. You may not know the component that is in your car. We have over 72,000 different inventory that keep cars on the road. Those who are, if your car is driving, you can't drive your car full 1 year without your money coming to us. It doesn't matter which model you drive. Next slide. We are pharmaceutical of automobiles. If you drive car in Nigeria, you are a customer. That's our Abuja building that we opened 2010 by the right. That's our car showroom and sales office. Then this is the new car mall we built in Victoria Island. That five floors are different brands of cars that are in each of them. Let's run. Then this is our motor assembly plant after Lagos Business School. You need to be there and see a center of excellence. These buses you see applying Lagos Road, all these blue buses, it's $120 million transaction. We did it. We put those buses on the road. And Ford Rangers are coming out here. Today we assemble not just Ford, but Renault and Jury. We're getting a Chinese brand among the family. Yes, next slide. This is Coscharis Farm, where we acquire 3,000 hectares of land, about 7 kilometers square in Anambra State. We started buying this property about 32 years ago and get it from different people and got the CFO when Emeko Meruwa was the governor, military administrator of Anambra State. We put seed on the ground and then evacuate it and take it to our mill and mill it and deliver rice. These are harvester. We have about four of them. Because of the short window, we build. I would have played you a small clip to show you the farm, but because of time, we have um, uh, um, silo where we keep the product, and then move the seed to the silo and then to the mill and then process it and get rice into the market. Nigeria spent over $3 billion importing rice on a yearly basis as if there's no entrepreneur in the country. World Bank has predicted by 2050 that Nigeria will be the third most popular nation on earth outside of China, India. Nigeria will be the next most population nation. If we spend $3 billion today under 200 million people, you will see the need of food. Many businesses have been overtaken by technology, but there is no technology that is going to obstruct food. So food, if you are not in a food industry, you may need to rethink because that's where the future is. Because even a mad person needs to be well fed before his madness will continue. Next slide. Legacy, leaving a legacy. The three phases. I've spoken about it. I'm running now. I don't know this thing. Okay, I have only four more slides. General generational thinking leadership is what it requires. If you are, I could have tell you something about ambition and vision, because people mix them up, but they are not the same. Ambition is about yourself, your family, but vision is about the generation, the nation itself, how to build a legacy, institution, things that will outlive you. So it's not about you, that you are flying private jet and living like a king. That's not what legacy is all about. Next one. Think generationally. Generation number one, builders, create something from nothing. Take ownership of the vision and set the standard. That's basically what we have done to transmit the fire burning inside of me to the young generation. I understand this. In life, you have three phases of your life: the spring, the summer, and the winter. So these are three phases of our life that we call dependent, dependent, independent, and inter-independent. So three phases of your life. When spring is the first phase of your life, when life is blossom, beautiful, everything you ask for is given to you, and that is the first phase of your life that we call dependence. Your parents feed you, but you get into the summer, the second phase of your life, where it is scorching sun. You begin to create your own vision, begin to take dependence, it become independent and decide what you need to do. Then you move into the third phase of your life. Actually, there are 4 seasons of your life. You get into the fall, where you now the leaves get into the ground, and then you get into the winter. So at 70, at 68, I'm almost there. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing today, to become a fertilizer to the young generation, to be able to, empower them and share vision for them to take it to the next generation and start creating multinational. The generation that gave birth to us are generations of billionaires, but we are moving into the trillionaires generation with AI, where you can sit in a garage without office and create $1 trillion company. It's happening. And anybody who believe and could see, people say it cannot be done. One young man that is work for us in Access Bank, Mbega, that was not even a general manager, he left us in 2015 and created FinTech, a payment system organization that is registered all over North America, Middle East, and Asia, and a small Lagos startup. He had processed a transaction over $50 billion, and that company worth over $3 billion today. So who say it cannot be done? It's just about mindset and idea, and empowering the young people to be able to not just go to internet and rose around there, but to create things that will be rewarding. Next, so I can get it. Think generational, third generation innovation, faster from the from the founder, must reconnect with the purpose and found new way to grow the legacy beyond third generation institutional, achieved by embodying the values so deeply that no single generation can destroy them. So it depends on what you plan. You can create a trust. There are different ways to be able to make this, so that these are part of the things the Jews teach their children from the age of 9. They let them understand the difference between the difference asset and liability. They understand it very early and begin to build their life like that. I don't want to take all the time. I think I've taken much more than I expected. But leadership at its highest level is not about position, it's about legacy and enduring impact. Thank you for listening to me. I'll be willing to take some few questions, because I'm still going to possibly speak in a church here today, tomorrow, and this after 10. So if you have any confusion, anything you do not understand, any challenge that you think, if whether you are a founder or whatever, but you have challenges, how do you think this can be done? Be very bold and open to ask an honest question, and let's see if we can find a solution to it. God bless you. I trust I've been able to add some value to those of you who make it a time to join us today. God bless you. Thank you. That's the last slide.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's applaud. Let's just send hand claps to appreciate our dear first, the first guest speaker we are having in this series. This is an amazing opportunity we all have. It doesn't come cheap, and we appreciate the executive for making this happen. He has asked that yes, just keep rolling it in. We have hundreds of them coming in. Wow, amazing value, sir. I don't know if you can see this, but the comments a lot. We can't even go through all of them because it's very impactful. The questions we wanted to open up the line so that people can ask questions. I think that's what everyone is saying. But then people are asking more personal questions because they would like to know. Most people want to know how they can get mentorship and all that, and that's what we are where we are at the moment. But I'm guessing we have to read out the questions that have been asked. Please, Madam President, I'm not sure. I don't know if you have questions that got to you first, so we can start with that because at the moment people are so overwhelmed with excitement. In fact, I'm sure we have more than 1,000 quotes from this session alone, and people are already typing them in the groups and out there. So the first question uh, I would like to ask is coming from one of our members who had said, "What would you advise a founder who is struggling to let go of daily operations?" I don't know. Yeah, that's the first
Yeah,
question.
that's good question. That's honest question. Let's be very honest. Uh, a self-made man is difficult to really trust other people because success is not easy if you struggle from ground zero. But life is all about risk. We said no venture, no success. You can decide. There are many people who started with me. In fact, if there's somebody I call like my boss, who was like my boss, but he lives in United States of America today, and I don't know what he does, frankly speaking. But this was somebody like I looked up to. But his greatest undoing is like a lack trust. Can you take? Is it risky trusting people? Yes, but let me be honest to you to say that you need to let people know you trust them to the point they are committed to you. Some people will betray that trust, but not everybody will betray the trust. But I can be honest to you to say some people have taken advantage of me, but there are people who were determined that they are ready to set their house on fire rather than anybody taking advantage of them. So life is about balancing risk and weighing risk. And what does that mean? If you are a founder and you are so anxious about people taking advantage of you, you will never let go. And at the end of the day, you will be in prison to your business, something you created. I know some of my friends, they can't even travel. They are in prison to their business because they are not because they have to sign check. If they are not there, no business goes on because they cannot, you know, give authority. But what separated me from my peers was that willingness and ability. One of the greatest undoing I saw in apprenticeship system is micromanaging. Apprenticeship system that gave birth to me, the boss tell you this is the price of the goods. He doesn't let you know how much the goods arrive. He doesn't let you know whether you are making 30% or 40%. And while I was working for my uncle, I told myself if I start my business, I will never run it like this. Because a staffing ingenuity he put people in prison. People just do what the boss want them to do. Yes, there is risk, but what makes us manager is taking a calculated risk and balancing the risk. So what I would tell such person is to take, he must take a risk on people. If he doesn't want to take a risk on the overall something, he should start something. Because if I am to run everything A to Z, how could I be in Nigeria and be in Ghana? How could I be in Ghana and be in Gabon, be in Ivory Coast, be in Sierra Leone, be in Zimbabwe, or be in Japan? It's not possible. Therefore, he must trust people and allow those people to take you to where you want to be and treat them well as well. That's what I will advise.
Thank you very much. That was a question from Golda. Okay, so maybe I'm going to have to ask three questions in a stretch so that we can you
Oh,
can go straight to answer them. And if that's all we can take, that will be all right because we've had a
sure.
lot. Okay, so the first is it's coming from okay, the first is coming from Mr. Ifeanyi Chukwakamibo. He said you recommended investment in agriculture and food. Do you have the specific chain one can delve into considering size of capital and cost of distribution within reference to the southeast of Nigeria?
Not exactly, but what I can tell you is that if you can do it wrong, you will never go wrong with food. If the people
Okay.
that have the future of the country are those who got into agriculture, let me tell you part of the things agriculture is important is that people don't know that people like Bill Gates, Elon Musk in United States of America are the people who own the largest part of land in America. When people talk about real estate, they thought that real estate is just people who make building. Real estate are people who are also into agriculture. When you look at the size of the land I'm telling you available today, people don't believe it exists in Anambra State. If the land value continue to appreciate, just imagine what that size of land value price will be in another 30 years today. So when you are into agriculture, human the demography of people are expanding. There is constraint on land. But people who are into agricultural business, even in Japan today, are the multinationals and the billionaires of this country because they did what we call land banking, where today they cut portion of that land and sell, and they are swimming in billions. So I would recommend agriculture. If you can afford it, the area you get into it, the better. You are not just doing agriculture, but you're also doing land banking.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So this is coming from Ikechukwu Iheme. He says, if you were building in a sector where trust, adoption, and stakeholder buy-in matter more than speed alone, what will you focus on first to gain real market traction?
So
Uh,
make to make it a core value that my organization does not compromise integrity, and then look for people who share the same value and principle to work with you. Once the news is out there that you are people that can be trusted and people begin to give you the benefit of that you distinguish yourself. That's what I did practically. There are not many people that give um, um, people from the eastern where I come from. They never gave them the kind of benefit of that was given to me. But I've been very consistent to let you know that if we shake hand, it's as good as signing any agreement. You can go home and sleep.
okay. From Memeka Ezibo, he says, how do we handle succession planning when the next generation does not hold the same views as the founders? Is it okay to
That
look
is
elsewhere for successors?
absolutely. That's where we make mistake to insist I must hand over to my son or to my children. There's nothing like that. Even among your children, you need to find who is more hungry than each other. It's not about the first son or the second son. It's somebody who bring what it require. Because we also three boys in our family, and I was not the first son of my father. So I told my children, including my daughter, I told her, compete with your brother. You're only girl among them. You nobody know. I'm watching them to see who is more hungry and who is more interested in in our business and get into ask constructive question. So I say you can run the campaign. There's nothing that makes you inferior to any other person. So what you look for is if the children are not interested, set up a system that can carry itself. In fact, my own idea is that if any of my son is going to run the business, he has to be qualified. He cannot run it by entitlement, because there are people who had put all their life on top of my organization, and I don't want any renegade to stand on top of the whole thing and send the people their life to prison. A person has shown competency and show hunger that they have what they require to create and drive the business to the next generation. Or he will make sure the company is making money, and when we share dividend, if the person want to carry boost for back or have a Panton as a pet, he can enjoy his life doing that, but the organization must remain different and build on its own.
Okay, so this question might be somehow, but it goes out. I'd read it all the same. It's from it's a company named Tantan, Nigeria. Would you have become this Cosmos Maduka if your father hadn't died at age 4? Is success divine?
I need to be very honest to say that I could have been something bigger, but if I want to be very honest, I would say many times things that were made for bad, God will turn it to be good, because our Bible said that Jesus Christ learned obedience through the things he suffered. A lot of people avoid discomfort, but you never grow in your comfort zone. You need pressure and the hard work to be able to get the best out of you. That is the truth. You never grow muscle by wishful thinking, by taking steroids. You need to lift objects that are painful to your hand for muscle to come upon you. So the death of my father could be disadvantage, but in other words, it get me to have sense. Hardship trained me. I became a street boy. At the age of 7, I started hawking for my mother. The things you say that child abuse, I used to be one of those children that were abused, if you call it child abuse. But you see what came out of it. So it's hardship. I I entered plane. The lady asked me, "Do you have any allergy?" I said yes. She said, "Please, we would like to know." I said, "Poverty." She started laughing. I said, "You didn't ask me if I have food allergy. You are asking whether I have allergy. I have allergy for poverty. I suffered it and I knew what it looks like. So I don't want to have anything like that." So if you go through hardship, it has a way to bring the best out of you.
Wow, wow. Okay, so we've had a lot of questions. For want of time, you mentioned you're going to get busy very soon. So, sir, if you don't mind, we might want to um, have more people that would like to ask questions, but
Sure,
we
sure.
can't
I can
we
take more
can't.
questions. I can take more questions. Go ahead.
Okay, so okay, we'll proceed with that. But I would like to also mention that the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic for the University of Nigeria is right here with us. He was a math teacher at the University of Nigeria Secondary School, so he's standing by very soon. Is going to say something to us. Okay, how can this is from Chiamaka Amefuna? I said, how can you start a business with no capital but strong talent, especially in the service industry?
Very simple. You need to look for problem you need to solve for people. Money is an exchange to a value. Until you find a problem you are willing to provide solution to, you can't be successful in business. So money don't like anybody or hate another person. So capital is very secondary to running a successful business. Many times people put it first. If you ask me the place of capital in business, I would say it did not have more than 40%. The knowledge you have in what you are doing and the passion you bring to it is had more weight and value than the capital, even though the capital is essential. And that's why I say that. Look at all these boys that people laughed at and called them shop boys that did apprenticeship. If you do apprenticeship where you acquire knowledge successfully and your boss gives you 1 million naira, many times guys that graduate in university start with 10 million. In 3 years or 4 years, the person with 1 million will catch up with them because there's something he knew that the other person did not know. So, knowledge is power. So, take time to study the industry you want to go to. You can work for somebody, profile, we call it apprenticeship, we call it mentorship or apprenticeship, where you are taught things you learn. Knowledge is a requisite. If you have listened to my teaching on 5 levels of money, I said what young people call money is cash, but cash is the least value of money. The number one level of money is what we call credibility. The second level is credible relationship. The third level is integrity. The fourth level is character. The fifth level is competence. If you don't have any of these things and you have money, you're a thief. Because money is an exchange to a value.
Wow. Okay, so okay, let's just take this one. I want to believe it's going to be our last because of time. Okay, how do you, I like this, UGN consultants, how do you navigate and overcome the unethical dynamics that is usually at play in getting government or public sector contracts, especially when you want to maintain your integrity?
That is why you should not build your business around that industry because it's a corrupt industry. Whether you like it or not, the truth has to be said. And that's why I tell you, I do anything that I can do. Coscharis is not only selling automobile. We sell water, bottled water. We sell yogurt. We are into, I have 200 million people as customer that I can provide a service. I don't know who is Buhari. I don't know who is Tunubu. I've never gone to Abuja one day to see them, and I'm not looking for anything for them. If anything come, it will be eyes on the cake. But I built my business on the public of 200 million people. Look for something you can sell for 5 naira for 200 million Nigerians. If you build your industry around contract, you are going to compete with some mafia in that industry. And quite a number of the people today, from what I heard, is so bad that people are not even asking you for 10% anymore. They want you to do the job with 20% and give them 80%. So, and then if they have to go to prison, you will go to prison because you are the man who won the contract. The other person has my home. Why do you want to jeopardize yourself with those things like that? Business must not be fixed with government contracts. You have to find things you need to. There are 200 million Nigerians that I need. People provided solution for communication. They didn't meet any particular government in any country. Find problem you solve for the world, and you get money. I do not believe you must run with God. It's not nothing wrong if you have the opportunity to do it, but it's a corrupt industry, and that is the truth that we must told. Must have to be said.
Thank you so much. Okay, so this says, what is your candid advice for upcoming entrepreneurs vis-a-vis Nigeria's failing economy?
What I would tell the young entrepreneur is that Nigeria is a great virgin land. It's an opportunity land. Listen to me. This is not a joke. I made my first trip to United States of America at 21. 19, I started business 1976. I visited America in 1998. Everybody tried to talk me not to return back to Nigeria. By that time, people already start running away from Nigeria and say it's a useless country. One of the things I tell young people is that you are taken to captivity by the words of your mouth. When you say Nigeria is useless and nothing good comes out of it, you have sealed your doom. If you have that mentality, the area you live, the better for you. I'm saying it could be better. I'm not saying it's the best place that anybody can be in the world. I'm saying it could be better. But you must have positive attitude that this madness create opportunity. I have run business in America, including trying to produce movie. I played in American stock market. I lost money in NASDAQ. I have written scheme print that I never the movie has may not produced it today. So Nigeria gives you opportunity many other countries don't give you. You don't only have 200 million Nigeria, you have all the West African market, 350 million population. Find something you can deliver. You can repackage in a unique form to get 20% or 5% of this population to patronize you. That's that this market is one of the sweetest market in the world if you have the right mental attitude. Like I'm telling you, a young man that works in Access Bank created a company. This is not a far-fetched 2015 today that worth $3 billion. And there are many more like that. I was asking, MTN came to Nigeria to do business, a small South African company. People like me were lucky. I put $5 million in MTN when they came. I got my first dividend, $870,000. It's like you went to do pool. You need to, Nigeria provide opportunity on return on investment. Many market in the world does not provide.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so someone made an observation, and I'd like to mention it. Oluchi Mbamalu had said that he's not sure if this is a question, but has Dr. Cosmos Maduka been standing for this whole presentation?
Yes, I've been
Please.
standing. Is there,
Wow.
yes, I've been standing. I'm standing. I'm not sitting down. I'm standing. Yeah.
Okay, we needed to point that out because it also shows in your work. I mean, how passionate you are. I'm sure
Sure.
that's why it was observed.
Yeah, sure, sure. I've been standing. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. This is actually the most we can take for now. And I'll invite back the president so that she can make a few comments before we wind down. Please, Madam President, please, this is
Before she come, my last remark is I will thank you guys for the opportunity and privilege to say this to you. I really wish these are family things because you make yourself when you are young. I don't know. What advice I will give is that if you want to continue with things like this, if you have family where your children are still young and willing to hear, get them because statistics shows that 86% of successful people became between the age of 12 and 28. In fact, when you are 35 or 40, you're already on a borderline. So you are taking a chance on the 14% that left. So if you miss it by 40, you are really taking chance.
Mm,
I'm not saying they don't make it at 50 or 60, but very rare because
yes.
the Kentucky man built became a
Okay.
billionaire at 88, but it was years after he has written his suicide mission. So at that time, it is become narrow in the pyramid. So you need the age gap. So this age where children, it's actually a taboo for parents to be giving a 30 years boy pocket money. It's evil, it's illegal. So to do that, because you are not supporting to get his ingenuity. So we need to get the children early to be thinking. The Jews do this from the age of 9. Their children have known the difference between asset and liability. And that's why you see them create generational wealth much easier than many of us are struggling to.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. This is mind blowing. I'm sure a lot of us are going back to our drawing board to think because a lot has happened. I'm not sure you should, I don't want you to speak more, sir, please, because I'm not sure it's going to take us about for years to even understand and be able to break into pieces and be able to run with all you have said today. Thank you so much. This is coming from me now, but I'm sure the exco will have to say something.
Okay.
Madam President, you're here.
Thank you, sir. I will yield the floor quickly to Ikechukwu Hemenanjo, please. You're under the duty.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ikechukwu.
Okay, on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the University of Nigeria Secondary School Alumni Association, and as one of its members, I'm truly honored to give this vote of thanks. First and foremost, our deepest appreciation goes to our distinguished guest speaker, Dr. Cosmas Maduka, Chairman and founder of Coscharis Group. So thank you sincerely for blessing us with your time, your wisdom, and your experience. Today's session has not just been a speech, he has given us food for thought. In fact, to put it well, we have not just been served, we may not have been served jollof rice this afternoon, but what you've given us has definitely fed us very well. Your insights on building a business that endures were rich, practical, and deeply inspiring. There's a saying that when an elder sits down to talk, it is because he wants you to stand up stronger. That is exactly what this session has done for us. You reminded us that building anything that lasts, whether a business, an institution, or even a family legacy, requires vision, discipline, patience, structure, and values. You also made it clear that success is not just about starting well, it's about finishing strong and leaving something that outlives you. That lesson is one we will carry with us. And truly, this aligns with the scripture in Proverbs 13:22, which says, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. That inheritance is not only material wealth, but also value, wisdom, structure, and legacy. Today's session has reminded us that enduring success is not built not only for today, but for generations yet unborn.
Absolutely.
We also want to especially appreciate our president and convener, Chioma Ndubise-Tuk, for her vision and commitment in putting together this leadership series. Thank you so much for consistently creating opportunities for us to learn, connect, and grow within the alumni family. To the organizing team and all those working quietly behind the scene, thank you very much. We all know that this event did not just organize itself. Even in a virtual gathering like this, someone is sweating behind the laptop. So we appreciate your good work too. And to all my alumni, friends, and participants who joined us today, thank you for showing up, for listening, and for being part of this meaningful session. Your presence is what gives life to this platform. And as we close, I pray that the seed planted today will bear fruit in our lives, in our work, and in the generation that come after us. As our people will say, a child who listens to wisdom today will not walk in darkness tomorrow. May we build lives and ventures that endure. Once again, thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman and all the ESCOs, and thank you to all my alumni. And God bless everyone. Thank you.
God bless you all. Thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure speaking with you guys. this evening. Have a wonderful weekend, and my regards to all your family, wherever part of the world where you are. God richly bless you. Shalom
Amen.
and good
Now,
night.
please,
Bye.
can we send the other questions? There are quite a number of questions. So when you answer, we'll send it back to the people that ask the questions.
It may be difficult. What we've taken today is the only thing that is possible. Because I also know people ask about mentorship. Just follow me on my social media. You get to. There are other people actually. I share this your slide with. I don't know. Some of them must have hook up. Even as I'm doing something for you today, I did another one in Abuja today that is almost going on purpose. So I'm a very busy person. If you follow me, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok. So you could get little pieces. And more importantly, if they ask Charity, you can share wherever I'm speaking with them. You get things there.
We will.
Some of you are because I am still running the organization of Coscharis. So I don't get paid by speaking. So this is not a professional job yet. So, and I still have
Understood.
to make out time to run all that. And so
Understood.
the questions I've taken today are the ones that are able to come in. But if you, I also have speaking event where people ask me to come and speak and other people pay. So if you like, you can also come on those ones. They also create time for
Yes.
questions and things like that. So
Thank
I think we have been able to contribute to the society the little we can. God bless you.
Thank
thank
you,
you very
sir.
much.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night, sir.
Okay, God bless. Good night.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Good
Okay.
night.
Oh, okay. So we are all leaving now. Thank you very much for the opportunity to do this with all of you. Mr. Rojikwe, I thought you were going to say something before we leave.
I just said good night. Bye bye. I said good night to the speaker. He's in a
Okay.
place where he should be getting to sleep, or at least it's good night. But yes, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Please,
Don
the
Lorenzo,
recording.
Don
I'm
Lorenzo,
sure.
for just well done.
Thank you, sir. Please, I'm sure the recording is somewhere. Everyone is asking for it. Let's get it out to them. Thank you. Bye.